Talk a little bit about how the FBI is going about trying to identify leakers in the administration because there has been some of that.
Yes. So the FBI right now is looking internally. They've had a leak problem there. We've seen it at the DoD as well. We've also seen it within the intelligence community. Tulsi Gabbard's kind of cracking down on that. But at the FBI, basically, Director Patel has mandated the use of polygraphs. So people that they suspect of having, communicated without authorization with the press, they're going to have to sit for a polygraph. And they're going to ask them whether or not they have leaked sensitive information or non-public facing information or classified information to the media or to PR contacts or Democratic operatives or what have you. There's been some pushback where people are saying, "Oh, well, this is a violation of whistleblower protections," but not really. I mean, FBI agents have to be able to maintain and hold a security clearance. Most of them hold top secret clearances. In order to get a top secret clearance, you have to undergo a polygraph to begin with. So this is sort of a routine type thing for these folks. So that's what they're going to start doing here is basically anybody they suspect of having leaked or having unauthorized communication, they're going to have to sit for a polygraph.
Let me clarify the distinction I think you're making here, and that is that if
Mhm.
there's some guy in the FBI who thinks that there's, let's just say, corruption at the very highest ranks of the FBI, this guy can go to Congress, to the relevant
Yes.
committees, and say, I am a whistleblower and I have information, and then they would get whistleblower protections. But the leaker is a whole different character, right? The leaker is the
Yes.
guy who is in disagreement with the policies of the Trump administration and maybe Kash Patel. And so, what does he do? He has coffee with the executive editor of the Washington Post and the New York Times, slips them information that they're not supposed to have so that they can then use that as a cudgel to bash the Trump. And so that's what they're talking about here. We're not
Yes.
talking about the revelations of corruption. We're talking about policy disagreements and it's an old practice to
Yep.
use the media in the insider game of trying to get policies exposed and discredited.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. And, a prime example of this that a lot of people are kind of familiar with were the Pentagon Papers back during the Vietnam War. And Daniel Ellsberg, he first went to the Washington Post and the New York Times, but that I believe was the Times that eventually published it. But they weren't actually able to do that until he also sent the Pentagon Papers to Senator Mike Gravel at the time, a Democrat from Alaska. And Gravel called his subcommittee in and entered those papers into the congressional record. But Ellsberg was eventually prosecuted. So first, he didn't go through sort of that protocol of going to a member of Congress. Instead, he tried to go to the media. And that's what they're trying to prevent at the FBI, because again, these are people who are entrusted with, the care and the secrets of information that is, sensitive, that could potentially harm the United States, could enable and help our enemies. So when you're entrusted with that, you can't just sort of go and, vent to the media as sort of your therapy session, which is what some of these guys do.
Okay, well, let's close out by me asking you about you were at the White House. There seems to be something
Yeah.
brewing on the Ukraine front. As you know, this has been a little bit of a back and forth. I saw that Trump, in his most recent interview with Terry Moran, was talking about Putin's motives and. What do you think is going to happen next in this back and forth with Ukraine?
Yeah, so I was at the White House yesterday for a briefing with the press secretary Carolyn Levitt that they did for kind of social media influencers and sort of alternative media and independent media, and so just sort of the corporate media folks that usually have access to the briefing room. But I asked her about the minerals deal because we've had a little bit of movement on that over the past kind of 2 weeks or so. The Ukrainian government has sort of said, okay, we think we agree to the terms now. But there hasn't really been a lot of official word from the White House or anybody else where it stands. And Levitt was very confident that a deal is imminent, that Ukraine is going to come to the table, sign this minerals deal, that we're basically going to get repayment for the aid that we have sent them in the form of sort of this joint venture in terms of extracting resources from Ukraine. So they're going to basically it's set up sort of like a sovereign wealth fund that we're going to have a stake in. So, I think that's a very positive development that we have. But she also did say that the president is frustrated. He's frustrated with Ukraine. He's frustrated with Russia, and that they've been very resistant to sort of coming to the table and just talking. So she did kind of reiterate that too. So, whether or not we get a peace deal here, that they seem to be sort of a little more wary on that now. But it does seem like we're going to get this minerals deal done.
I mean, as we age, we're all dealing with more aches and pains, thinning hair, wrinkling skin. Even our nails start to get more brittle. I want to tell you about this amazing product that Debbie and I put in our morning coffee. It's Revive. It's from Brightcore Nutrition. This easy-to-mix multi-collagen powder helps strengthen bones and joints. The best thing about Revive is it works from the inside out. It's also going to help you rejuvenate your skin, help you grow back thicker, healthier hair, and strengthen your brittle nails. Revive contains 5 types of collagen, hyaluronic acid, biotin, and vitamin C, which work synergistically to make you feel and look younger than ever. It's all natural, non-GMO, and 100% made in the USA. Just for my viewers and listeners, a great deal, 25% off with code Dinesh by going to mybrightcore.com/Dinesh podcast. So it's mybrightcore.com/Dinesh podcast. Or there's a special incentive if you call. It's even better. 50% off your order and free shipping. So what do you got to lose? Go ahead and call them. Here is the number, 888-927-5980. Again, it's 888-927-5980. Their educated staff will make sure that Revive is right for you.